Well, my name is Megan Porter. I'm an Alumni Engagement Officer with the Office of Alumni Engagement Giving at Point Park. I'm excited to welcome you to one of our video series called What's the Point? And today I have a wonderful alumni guest joining me. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself and we're going to get started on our conversation.
Hi, I'm Ally Hindman. I'm an alumni, graduated in December of 2018.
What did you study while you were at Point Park?
I studied sports arts and entertainment management.
Awesome. So this is a little bit of a coffee chat style conversation. So to begin, could you tell me what kind of coffee style beverage you're enjoying?
I'm enjoying green tea today in my, of course, CAB mug.
I
Got to
love
represent the Campus Activities Board. So yeah, that's what I'm having.
I'm having, I think this is blackberry cherry tea. So I bought a variety pack.
That sounds really good.
So what's a hobby that you've recently picked up during all of the COVID-19 stuff that you recently started or have restarted that you began again?
Sure. So during quarantine, I've been really working on my house. So I'd say like home renovation is my new hobby. My sister and I bought a house less than a year ago, so there's lots of projects. So we've been pretty much painting and building just about everything, making a game room currently, which is going to be really cool when it's done. So that's our latest project, but that's what I've been doing, home renovation projects, which I never thought I would enjoy, but now, I have the time to do it. It's really fun.
That is probably a good mark of adulthood, is that?
Yeah, I feel so adult.
So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So I'm currently a marketing specialist for a nonprofit called Community Life. It's a medical company that helps seniors 55 years or older live independently at home. So we do pretty much an all-inclusive care plan for them. But my job is to just tell people about how awesome it is. I go out to hospitals and nursing homes and any medical company or food pantry to kind of reach the seniors who are in need of our services. So a lot of just like events, marketing stuff. That's pretty much what I've been doing with that job.
That's awesome. Now, what inspired you in that role? It was kind of, I know you were SAEM, so how did you find yourself in that marketing and healthcare role?
If you would have asked me whenever I graduated from Point Park if I would be working in the medical field, I probably would have said, no way, never. But after college, I was really wanting to be an event planner. So a lot of my time I spent doing internships with events, and I was on the Campus Activities Board doing events there. So I really knew somehow that I wanted to do that. And I got a job as the activities director at a nursing home. And I was like, well, this isn't exactly what I thought, but I ended up really loving working with seniors. So I later got a different job doing marketing, which kind of relates to both. So I can still incorporate events and I can still do like parts of SAEM with the marketing aspect as well.
That's such an interesting kind of way to get into that work, but sounds like it's very relevant as AEM.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it isn't like your typical SAEM job. A lot of people want to do like corporate events or anything like that. And of course, my events are like more small scale than, things that some people are doing. But it's like, I feel like I'm making impact with working in a nonprofit role. And then also I feel like I can still incorporate the things I like event planning.
Yeah, that's a good way to frame it. Like you're still getting all the things that you love, but maybe not in the way that you envisioned as a senior.
Yeah, exactly.
So now tell me a little, I know you mentioned you were in CAB. Tell me a little bit about your time at Point Park. What were you involved in? Give us the story.
Sure. Point Park is an awesome place. So I was super excited to start school there. I'm from a small town called Emlenton, Pennsylvania. It's about an hour and a half north of Pittsburgh. So I found myself like, I need to get to a city somehow. And I didn't want to disappoint my parents too much by moving too far away. So I was like, let me look at Pittsburgh because that's the closest city and see what schools are there. And then I met somebody from Point Park at a college fair, and they were telling me about SAEM, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go. So that was super exciting. And then I toured, and then I really fell in love with it. So I knew I had to come to Point Park. So when I was on campus I think my first couple weeks I got involved in CAB. I just wanted to.
Pretty early?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't have any friends. I didn't know a single soul that went to Point Park before I enrolled. So I was like, I need to join something to make friends immediately, because that's scary not knowing anybody. So I joined CAB not knowing that it would be like such a rewarding experience. And I was involved in a couple different committees. I was the Experience Pittsburgh committee as like a general board member. And then I moved into some more leadership roles down the road. So I also worked in the sale office, and I also was in the knitting club. So
I love that.
yeah, I didn't know how to knit, so I thought, what the heck?
Great, might as well, you'll learn. So that's so interesting you bring up, like, immediately getting involved to find a community. I know you said you originally got involved to kind of get involved, like get some experiences and build a network, but what kept you involved?
Sure. So I loved planning events for the students. Like seeing an event the whole way through was so fun. And like we had a budget to pretty much do whatever we thought people would like. So Brad, the advisor, let us pretty much roll with whatever ideas we had, as long as we thought them out and made sure, we had all the stuff that we needed. He didn't ever hold us back from like what we wanted to do. So it was so fun to like have a small idea and think, maybe this might work, and then introduce it, and everybody just like takes off with it, and then it becomes like an actual thing. So that was my first, I feel like, experience in like my adult life where I could feel like I'm actually doing something, that is like important for the students and important to like me for professional development as well.
Yeah, I think that's so interesting. Like you're able to kind of like see it from the idea to the completion, which is so awesome.
It was really awesome. There was just some like funny things we did. We did like a indoor beach party once, and I got a mechanical shark, and that was like the coolest thing.
I didn't know you could rent that.
You can. Yeah. You can do all kinds of stuff. We had like escape rooms come onto campus, spring fling. We did some really cool themes. So it was really just like fun to be as creative as you could be.
What was, if you can think of it, what was your favorite memory or favorite experience you had while at Point Park?
I had so many great experiences. It's just really hard to nail down like one. But from like, I had so many great experiences in CAB. In working in the sale office, I made so many friends who I wouldn't expected to make friends with. Like I had dancer friends by the end of that, and I didn't really have any classes with them, or so that was really cool to be able to meet people from all over the country. There's so many people from everywhere. I had friends from Florida to New York City, so that was really awesome. And then I had some awesome internships and classes too in SAEM. So I really can't nail down one, but I think of Point Park, my experience there is like one big awesome memory and experience.
I love that. And I think you speak to something that's so cool about Point Park is that folks just like they jump into the deep end, like they embrace the experience, they jump in, they get as involved as they can. And it's I'm always so impressed when I hear about what folks are up to.
Yeah, everybody is doing so much. Like all your classmates are encouraging because they're doing really cool internships. So you want to have those type of things for you too. So I feel like it encourages you to work harder to kind of get where you want to be.
During your time at CAB, you learned a lot of really interesting skills and experiences, such as like how to order a mechanical shark. But talk to me a little bit about those experiences that you now use in your professional life.
Yeah, so there's so many experience or skills that I guess I learned from CAB. I think the main one I would say is working as a team. That sounds like very cliche and maybe simple, but it really is. Like you're putting together, I'm not sure how many, but say 10 people who don't know each other, or or they are friends. Like there was a mix of people you didn't know and people that you started school with and were in the same friend group with, and you're putting them all together to kind of reach one goal. And that, like I said, it sounds simple, but in the workplace, that's the same thing. You don't necessarily know anybody you work with in your adult life, and you have to come together to meet minds, like meet the same ideas and goals. So I would say teamwork mainly would be but there's so many other ones. I would say like patience, seeing things through from start to finish. Like I said, Brad like really took the time to make sure that you knew what you were doing, and like he would be there to guide you but never answer your questions. So
Right.
I feel like
you
a
a
lot of
hint.
those experiences I've applied to like my professional life now.
That's so interesting. I also like the idea of like your advisor hinting at what you needed to do, but maybe not telling
They'll
you
never
what to
give you an
do.
answer. But that's a good thing though, because it allows you to think for yourself. And sometimes that would be frustrating. Like, I just need somebody to tell me what the heck to do. But then like, what experience would you get from that? It really was like developing yourself professionally to be able to make those decisions in a workplace without always having to ask your supervisor or your coworkers what to do next.
I love that you talk about patience. Like I wouldn't think of that immediately as like a professional skill, but that completely is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it was like sometimes your schedule would be so packed. Like another thing was time management, and like being patient with like yourself and others. So sometimes your schedule would be jam packed, and you would be like, I don't know how I'm going to get through this week because I have 6 papers due, and I have this cab event to plan, and I have to manage a
Right.
committee, and there's so many things. But and maybe you're waiting on one person to get back to put together all the pieces. You're waiting for an email or something. Sometimes, like before I started cab, I would say I would be like frustrated at people because I not get the answer immediately. But in the real world too, like outside of college, you don't necessarily have that either. So I think that those type of things prepared me as well.
Thinking about some of the students and the experiences they're getting, maybe some of those ones that you wouldn't necessarily immediately think of, like patience. What are some skills that, if like you were telling a group of students, what are some skills that you've learned through your time at CAB? What would you encourage them to think about?
I would definitely encourage them to get involved in something that's outside of their comfort zone. Um, like I talked about the knitting club, that was something I didn't know how to do. But getting like being creative in the way that not doing stuff that you're normally used to, I think sparks maybe the best things, even if maybe that's not the skill you're looking for, it could lead to something else. And there was always like doors opening. So I would just say look for any opportunity that, like, be an opportunity seeker. Look for any opportunity that's there. Like cab was there, and I knew if I, got experiences from cab, I could put those toward a part-time job. When I came to college, I maybe had one part-time job in high school, but none of those skills I had from working at a small restaurant was applicable for like an internship. So having like the opportunities there gave me skills to talk about in an interview to be able to apply those to like an internship or a job. So just like always look for the next thing. Be patient. We just talked about trust the process. Sometimes it's you don't necessarily know why you have to do something or why like these things are being put like, as roadblocks, but it will make sense like down the road. So I just say like whatever skills, it really is just going to depend on like the type of job they're seeking out, but just find ways to gain skills that you can talk about to kind of gear you toward your career.
And I think that's a great point that sometimes you don't always realize something might be very applicable to another industry. Like for what you spoke of, like you didn't necessarily see the healthcare marketing being super
Mm-hmm.
applicable, but the more you thought about it, the more it was truly applicable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do stuff that I did in cab now. Like I do bingo still, and I did that in cab, but it's for a different audience. But a lot of those things I would have never thought like, oh, I'll never have to plan a bingo again. But like those things, it really does come full circle whenever you're applying things and I'm sure there's a million skills that I'm not even thinking of that I'm applying to my professional career now that I've learned from my experiences and being involved on campus.
You never know when you're going to need a good bingo game.
You
So
never know. It's a very serious thing and working with seniors. So
I know we've talked a lot about why you got involved, but thinking about other current students or other students, why do you think it's really important, or do you think it's important to be involved while they're at Point Park?
I would say yes for sure. I think it's important not just for like career, but to make your college experience enjoyable, like more enjoyable, because the classes are wonderful, but that's only one thing. Like I feel like to really flesh out like all the opportunities you could get, I would say getting involved is the best way you can do that. Finding something that's your interest. It doesn't have to be CAB or the knitting club, but there you can start your own club from
The bingo club.
sale. You can do whatever. You can get a co-op. You can seek out internship opportunities. Everybody at Point Park is a great resource to let you know what opportunities there are, but definitely get involved in something. It doesn't have to be five things. I feel like I sometimes pack too much stuff on my plate, but if you're really involved in one thing that you really enjoy, it could really make your college experience better.
That's also a very good point of finding that balance between being over involved and still being involved.
I was an over involved person.
I can remember the same moment where I'm like, I think I took on too much this year.
But that's like also a learning moment too, because like now that I have a full-time job, and I don't think anything really prepares you for the amount of time you put into a full-time job. I know that like I can't take on five things like I used to, or um, in splitting up my time. Like if I'm going to do one thing, I want to do it good rather than five things and do like a half job. So um, time management and that strength that like don't do too much, but do enough that you can still like enjoy your experience and use those skills. I would say is definitely a big. I feel like it's a big part of your college experience.
We've kind of referenced your experience in CAB being very foundational to your time at Point Park, but was there ever, sometimes I think folks, and I could think of one in myself, a moment that I would consider like a pivotal moment that really defined what I wanted to do, that I was in the right place, that kind of thing. Can you think of something like that for yourself, an experience you had?
Yeah, I would say my SAEM classes really like speak to this. Taking like classes that I took, my capstone is business models, and like
Oh,
it
okay.
it was a tough class because you had to build a whole business plan from start to finish.
Wow.
But like all of those things are like really beneficial to if you do want to start your own business after school, you can definitely do that. Um, and that was like when I finished that project, I was like, I definitely want to do something in business. And I took like pieces of my CAB experience. Like, I really want to I feel like I got all of these things at different moments. Like, I didn't have one big like
Gotcha.
moment,
Like
but
multiple.
like I was like just kept turning like to the right direction, like little turns at a time to point me to where I actually wanted to go. So like from my internships, I had done one with a nonprofit, and it was the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, which um,
Oh,
having that internship really led me to wanting to work in like a nonprofit sector. My classes led me to like know how I wanted to work in events and marketing, and then CAB taught me like the skills on how to achieve that. So I really would say like not one specific thing, but a whole bunch of things just kind of made sense after.
I love that. Um, Sometimes it takes a little time to find the right fit, or there are circumstances you can't control that impact your ability to get to the right place.
And it is scary, like um although I had this confidence and I was like felt so ready and I had all these experiences, I was like, why isn't anybody hiring me right now? But it all made sense when I did get the job that I got because it like led me to my next opportunity. Speaking to that, trusting the process, that really that does take some time, and being patient and knowing the skills you have and not settling.
So I know you are connected to Point Park as an alumni, but if you don't mind sharing a little bit about why do you stay connected? In what ways are you connected to campus?
I love staying connected just to see like other students. And I feel like even since I've only been gone a short time, a lot of things have changed, and to see like developments on campus, the new coffee shop to
Oh yeah,
the
Point Park.
security things at the front of Lawrence Hall, which are really cool that weren't there when I was there, but still like being able to like see campus change and get cooler than it already was before. I also still like rely on some of the people I was connected with there for like advice for my current career. Like I'll still reach out to my advisors with CAB in sale to like check in and just, like, what do you think about this crazy idea that I have? And they're always even still won't answer my questions, but they'll still kind of point you in the right direction. I also love like being able to encourage students the way I felt like I was encouraged whenever I was there from alumni. So it's one big network that you want to be a part of, because there are so many resources. I can go to any city in the US and find a Point Park alumni who is doing something different that I can gain knowledge from. So I think being involved in the alumni network is really cool. I never thought of myself as doing something like that, but like I love Point Park so much, and I want to share with students how great it was for me.
See, and I really like that idea, because I think what stands out about Point Park is the people, and that idea that like your connection to the people is not just limited to campus. Like it can be in another city or when you've graduated. It's just so wonderful to see that.
It is really cool. Like couple of my friends, like my one friend lives in New York City now, doing events. So we're still connected, which is really cool though to see. That's like cool. We are doing completely different things, but we both, are Point Park alum, and I know I'll always be able to go to New York and see her and get career advice from her. And my friend is moving down to Atlanta, so there's just so many different places you can go and still be connected to Point Park.
From what you've shared, I feel like if I could summarize the theme, it's patience in the process.
Patience in the process.
But you bring up such excellent points that, yes, you want it immediately, you want it now, but that's not always what's going to happen.
Yeah, and I feel like everyone experiences, maybe some people get a job before they graduate, and that's wonderful. But like, it's not the worst thing in the world to, take a little bit of time and search for one that makes more sense to you, or, or build yourself up to a point where you do get the job you want, maybe taking a job that's not necessarily the perfect fit at first, and then working into something. People change jobs all the time. So working into something that you really love doing.
If you have an example for this, I'd be curious to hear. I love a good quote. So is there a quote or an expression that you live by, or some mantra that you always share to yourself that kind of helps you stay motivated?
Sure. My friend Ashley told me this, and I've stuck to it. I met her at Point Park my freshman year. So she told me, whatever's for you won't pass you. And that's her favorite quote, but I kind of adopted it as well, because it really does hold true to like all of the experiences in life. If it's not meant to be, it won't be. It's the same type of idea, but it's like a simple thing to just remind yourself that like, if it doesn't work out at first, it's not what it was supposed to be. There's something better coming along. So I really just stick to that. It's simple, but it really does. It is a very moving thing.
This is one of my favorite questions to ask usually. Is there anything we didn't ask you that you'd like us to know, or anything else you feel might be good to share?
Being involved, keep trying to find the next opportunity for you, and always feel like you can reach out to your alumni network to get advice or ask about how you can get into this different thing, because being from Point Park kind of teaches you like we're all one big family. So use your resources. Like if any students wanted to reach out to me, I would encourage them, please. If I can help in any way, I would love to.
Well, I appreciate you offering that, because that's one of the things we love connecting students, because at some point alumni like yourself that are in the field can speak to things at a level that is just so much more helpful for students. Like you said, you learn a lot and you feel confident leaving school, but sometimes you also just want to just talk to somebody who's done this job. So
yeah, and I'm still in Pittsburgh, so if anybody wants to like get coffee, I would love to share with them like any advice or any pointers that I have that could help them on their career journey as well.
wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I so appreciate you sharing some of your time today and helping us discover what's the point.